Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elise and this is my Mystical Bookshelf. And for this week's video, I have a audiobook review from A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by J. Penner. And I found out about this book from Instagram. I follow J. Penner on Instagram, and this book came out last November of 2023, and I love cozy fantasies. Cozy fantasies are my favorite genre, and I love reading them when it starts to become fall time. I feel like fall time is the perfect time to read cozy books. And this one is a definite 5 out of 5 stars for me. And I think what I love most about this book is the colorful cast of characters. There's just so many cute characters in this book. I love all of them so much, and they are, let me list them off for you. The main character is Arletta Starstone. She is the main character of this whole story, and she is a human who goes to Lindenshire and is entered into a baking competition that is primarily only ever participated in by like magical creatures like elves and dwarves and other magical creatures of the sort. But Arletta is different, and it is made very clear that humans are kind of like seen as lesser to the magical beings, which I found kind of unfair because I think Arletta is very nice. She's very sweet, and she's a really great baker, and she lives next to these two orcs, and they are like her dads almost, because Arletta, she lost her parents when she was 16, and we learned that early on in the story, so it's not really a spoiler. But she learns that she's entered into this competition by one of her, she calls them her dads basically, so by one of her dads, and she's kind of upset about it at first because she's like, nobody's gonna like that I'm there, nobody's gonna want to see me compete or anything like that. But they know that she's a really, really good baker, so they enter her into the competition anyway, which I think was the best decision ever made, because she does really good in the competition and everybody really likes her. So she's the main character, and then when she gets to Lindenshire, she meets a dwarf whose name is Dolly, and Dolly is very bubbly, she's very sweet. She's also a really good baker, and they end up becoming best friends right away because Dolly is that kind of person who essentially feels like a ray of sunshine. That's how I felt when I was reading about her or listening about her. And I love this book especially because the narrator, who is Vicky Jo Ava, she does a great job of making all of the characters have different voices. So Dolly's voice was very like high-pitched, kind of bubbly sounding, and it was so cute. I loved it. That's what I love about audiobooks the most, is the narration, because when you have a great narrator, you end up with a really great story. And I like it so much more than actually just reading it, because it ends up being better than what I would have imagined the voices for myself. And so Dolly's the third character, the first best friend that Arletta meets. And she also meets Jez, who is she's a fennec fox, like an anthropomorphic fennec fox, like an Animal Crossing character sort of. And she's like the grumpy personality in the book, even though she ends up really liking Arletta and Dolly a lot, and even though she doesn't really want to admit it at first, they become her best friends essentially, which I think is so cute. I love that it's like a found family type of vibe. Those are my favorite types of books when it comes to cozy fantasies or like friendship tropes. I feel like with the friendship trope, The found family is the one that I gravitate towards the most. I feel like it's really relatable, and it ends up giving me a really warm and fuzzy feeling on the inside, which is what I love. I love feeling that going into a book. Like right away, you know that this book is going to impact you positively. That's what I love the most. So she meets Jez, and then she also meets Theodman, who she calls Theo, and he is an elf. And he's the one who comes and tells Arletta that she's been entered into this competition by her orc dad. And he is her love interest in the story. And this is a spoiler. We learn later on that they are like fated. So it's been fated that Theo and Arletta are meant to be together and meant to be like the love of each other's lives, because it's revealed that elves have fated romances, and it's very rare for it to be between a human and an elf, but for this one it is Theo and Arletta, so it's kind of a rare pairing. But Arletta finds out about it by reading a book about elven history and stuff, and she doesn't really believe it at first. She doesn't believe that Theo and her could actually be together, and there's kind of a lot of back and forth with the romance, which is the only thing that kind of irritated me just a smidge, because it's like, you know that Arletta really likes Theo, and you know that Theo really likes Arletta, but Arletta's kind of just making it difficult. But in the end, it really works out well, and they end up, you know, happily ever after and all that good stuff. But the story mainly follows Arletta and Theo on this journey to go to Lindenshire for the baking competition, and Arletta is up against this really prestige elf in the baking competition who's won, I think, 3 times. This will be her 4th time winning, and she'll have like the crown championship title and stuff, and then she'll be able to go next year and be a judge instead of just competing. And Arletta's really nervous, and she feels like she's not good enough to perform in this baking competition, which I feel like is a very relatable feeling, which might be why a lot of people gravitate towards this book, because I know it's really popular and highly rated, and I think a lot of people struggle with not feeling good enough in what their hobbies are or what they really love doing. And it's nice to see that Arletta is proved wrong, because in the book everyone loves Arletta. She ends up becoming the fan favorite of the baking competition, and in the twist of events, she's in this baking competition with Dolly, Jez, and this elf who is like the highest of the high in the competition. And she actually ends up learning that the elf who has the most prestige in this competition doesn't actually want to be there. She's being made to do this by her brother, which is really sad, because you should do what you want to do. You shouldn't do it because somebody's telling you to or someone's making you do it. And Arletta learns that she's been being really hard on this prestige elf, and she tries to become friends with her, even though this character's kind of snobby. And I really like the character growth that she goes through, though, because by the end, Arletta and her and Jez and Dolly all become friends, which is really sweet. I like when there's a character who they start out like they're grumpy, or she's grumpy in a different way from Jez. She's grumpy in like a snotty kind of way, like she thinks she's better than everyone. But I really think this is a front, because she feels like she has to be the best for her family, because she has to hold this title for her family name and stuff like that. But you really see the great character growth towards the end of the book, and this is a big spoiler. Arletta doesn't end up winning the competition. She ends up actually forfeiting it by not putting her secret ingredient into her last baking project, which she doesn't really tell anyone because she doesn't want that to come out and like ruin the whole thing, because she knows that this elf really needs this win for her family, so she ends up letting her win. And it's really nice though that Arletta forfeits this for her. It's a very selfless act, and I thought it was a nice twist, because I really did think Arletta was going to win, but it was nice to see that even though she had the opportunity and the skills to win, that she gave it up for someone else who needed it more. And in the end, they all become friends, and I think that the elf who won, she ends up owning a shop with Arletta, actually. They own a bake shop together in the end, and they become business partners. And that's like the best character arc, is like enemies to friends. It was a really nice back and forth between them, and I really enjoyed their friendship the most, I think, because they both had really great character growth together. And it was just nice to see that even though they were pitted against each other, they ended up coming together and being friends. And so they open this shop together, and that's how the story ends. They open, Arletta always says she adds a touch of magic, so that's what they end up naming their store, A Touch of Magic. And I thought that was very cute. And another thing that I really like about this book is J. Penner says she includes the recipes for all of the treats that are listed in this book. So I think the audiobook comes with a PDF file, but I know for like the physical copy, they're probably just all in the back. And I would recommend this book for people that love baking and cozy fantasies. And I think the best part, along with the characters and how everyone was written, I think the best part is J. Penner's ability to describe baked treats. That's like the best part. I like craved lemon bars for like a whole month after I read this. They sounded so good, and I want to try and make the lemon bars, but I'm not really a great baker, so I don't know how it would turn out. But it's just fun that you can have a book with all these amazing treats, and then you can end up making them yourself if you want to. But I would definitely rate this book 5 out of 5 stars. It was one of my favorite reads for August. I loved it so much, and I would definitely recommend like listening to the audiobook, especially because the audiobook is really what brought it to life for me. I loved how Vicky had all these different voices for all the characters. Like you could tell when Dolly was talking because she sounded very high-pitched, bright, and bubbly. And you could tell when Arletta was talking because she pitched her voice down a little bit lower for Arletta. And I also really enjoyed how she gave like the grumpy personality to Jez. Like she very definitely lowered her pitch in her voice for that character as well, and you could just tell the difference between everyone. And I think that's the best part about audiobooks. They really make the story if there's a really great narrator. And I love Audible, and I would definitely recommend that you get Audible because it's the best place to listen to audiobooks in my opinion. But that was one of my first reads for the coming of spooky season, because I definitely associate cozy fantasy with spooky season. So that was one of my like first initiating books of the season. And I hope you enjoyed listening to this. And if you've read A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic, please leave me a comment and tell me what you think about it. Tell me what you thought about the characters, what you think about the baked goods, and all of that. And I really appreciate everyone watching my videos, and I appreciate all my new subscribers that I have. And I'm hoping to make more content soon, as in like more than one video a week. So hopefully that'll be in the works. And thank you so much for your support, and I hope that you enjoyed this video because I always enjoy making them. I enjoy giving my thoughts to everyone about certain books, and I always appreciate feedback, so please, let's have a chat in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and give this a like and subscribe if you're new and you want to see more of my content. And I just appreciate everyone. So thanks, friends. Bye.